everybody, welcome to Adventures of Ty. Today is a very special day. It's actually a sad day for me today. So we have here Mickey. This is like family. I met Mickey. She was one of my, or still is one of my top subscribers. But we became family. She came down to visit Merida with her two oldest kids, and they fell in love with Merida. She decided to move here, and she decided to move with her entire family. Some stayed, some came. I think for the most part, all of them decided to come except for two. And you've had some ups and downs.
Yes.
And tonight, sadly to say, you guys are going to be leaving. And it actually makes me a little bit emotional. I can't even believe I just put it in. It's like, but you are going to be leaving. Please tell everyone, your experiences here. Let's talk about the good and the bad. I think it's very important for everyone to know that, life happens whether you're in the United States or Mexico. And I commend you. Because you have done an awesome job with your children. You took a leap of faith here, coming to Merida with your family to start anew. And I think you've done an awesome job. But as we said, things happen, and here we are. So let's get to it, y'all. So the first question, tell me why. What made you come? What made you decide to move to Merida?
Better quality of life. Let me start by saying, because everyone asks me that question, and the first thing they ask me is, you found a man in Mexico? That's the first question I get every single time. So no, there was no man. It was a better quality of life. Just the cost of living here, the people, the culture, all of that. The weather. The older I get, the colder I get. So I need hot weather now. So all of that was a factor. Not only that, showing my kids something a little bit different than what they're used to. Usually certain groups only travel abroad when they're military. So a lot of times children, they get to miss out. They miss out on those type of things.
Right.
So. And we're not military. So, but I wanted to show the kids a different way of life other than what they see on the television. Because, what you see on TV is just that, television.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it is scripted, and, things that are not, they try to pull from, the worst things, they don't show the positive, or the family and, togetherness and things of that nature, which is totally different than, United States.
You're absolutely right.
I believe the first couple of days we talked about that, it was like, okay, I gotta bring it down a notch because I was like on 100. But it's a lot different. You really don't realize how shell-shocked you are until you come here.
Yes.
Or you leave. I shouldn't say just here, but until you leave the United States, and then you realize, like, I really have been traumatized, haven't I? So it's a lot different. It's a lot different being here than in the States.
So with all of that being said, why are you leaving?
I hope my kids don't see this. For lack of better words, I'm an honest person, and I'm being honest. Poor parenting. So please, mothers, single fathers, not in a bad sense. I just sheltered my kids in a way that they weren't used to seeing certain things. So they were used to mommy taking care of a lot. So with that happening, when I left, that kind of took the rug from underneath them. So I don't think they were quite prepared enough to be by themselves yet. Although they are grown, they're grown. They are 21 and older. Not going to say how old they are, but they are grown. And they just weren't ready yet. A lot of times we do try to encourage kids to leave at 18, even though they're really not ready. So then we throw them out there and the world eats them up. And it kind of either pushes them into one or two different categories. Either, they sink or they swim. Without sometimes even ever getting to test the water.
I get that. I get that.
So, unfortunately, I think I should have, as much as I was preparing myself to come here, I should have took the extra step and prepared them for me to leave also, which I didn't do. It was more or less like, all right, y'all know I'm leaving.
Yes.
Get your house in order. But that's kind of hard to tell your kids to do that when you've always got their house in order. They never had a house to get in order.
Yeah.
So how can they do something they've never been exposed to doing?
That's so important. So let's take a look at that. So you have 2 older children.
Yes.
And then you have 4
Younger ones.
So the 4 younger came.
Yes.
And the 2 older stayed.
Yes.
Okay. And while your 2 older were in the United States, living their life, you still kind of had to try to manage both.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. So I was trying to be mom on both sides of the water.
Right.
Not that they got into any trouble as far as law or anything of that nature. Just them being in a spot where they weren't comfortable and I wasn't comfortable with where they were at or what they were going through. As a mom, seeing your kids go through something that really, and I'm not going to say I caused it, but you do take in part in a side street type of way. I did. I get it. So I felt like I needed to, hey, listen. But the hey listens can only go but so far. And then, the places that they were staying, everything kind of caved in. It didn't go as planned. And one thing I will always say, you never know a person until you live with them. So when you live with a person and you figure out how they are, you two can survive being friends or whatever. After that, then you're meant to be friends.
Right.
Okay. But yeah.
At what point did you just immediately say, I gotta go, or did you kind of consider it first? At what point did you say, it's time?
A couple of days ago.
So just like that.
Not quite.
And she's telling the truth. Seriously. She literally called me up and was like, I'm about to go.
Like 2 days ago.
I'm about to go. And I'm like, when? She's like, yeah.
So they came here. They came to visit because things was just all over the place. And I felt like they needed a breather.
So her children, her oldest kids, they came here. Remember, they visited with her initially, and they decided to stay in the United States, and then they came here to visit while you guys had already gotten settled here.
So when we first came to scout out and look, it was the 3 of us. So we got an Uber a rental, and got a what's that called now?
Airbnb.
There we go.
Right.
Airbnb, and
that's how we initially met.
Yeah.
You called me up, and I was like, look, hey, come to the house. So her and
what meant to be a 20-minute conversation ended up to be some basketball playing, some dinner eating, and it was 3 hours later.
It was a blast.
Yes. So they came, we visited, and they loved it. I loved it. But it was like, I don't think it was really real to them that I was leaving until the tickets was brought, and it was like, it's a wrap. We're out. Some months had passed in between that. So then when we did leave, that's when things kind of fell apart.
Gotcha.
So with things falling apart, my next oldest child, so the number 3, he decided that here wasn't for him, and I get it. He wanted to be back home, dad, his friends, he's a sophomore this year, he's, done all this schooling in one place, and I get it and I understood. Sometimes change for certain people just doesn't work well.
Right.
with them,
Right.
you know. So
at this point now,
Yeah.
you have your next to the oldest that
Mhm.
had been here for about a month or so.
Yeah, he was here.
Um,
He was here about a month or so, and and
He decided
2 months.
he
Yeah,
was
he was
ready
here
to
for
go.
2 months, and this just wasn't for him.
Mhm.
So he went home. So as he came home, things just was not going well, you know, in the States. And my 2 older ones, they needed a break. You know, sometimes it's hard to see what's in the soup when you're in the soup.
Mm.
Okay, so I had them come over, take a break, you know, adjust, and assess the problem.
Mhm.
So they did that and went back home. And when they got back home, it was even worse. It was
Wow.
even worse.
So now you're 3 here in the United
Yeah.
States.
3 in the
And
United
you got
States,
3
here with
here.
me. Yep.
Torn.
So yeah, and things are like old people say, from pillar to post.
Mhm. Mhm.
And for me as mom, knowing and feeling like I kind of caused this in a way, now I gotta go fix it.
Mhm.
I gotta go fix it. And I know some may say they're grown, let them. As a parent, hear me out. I understand that. But when your children are not ready, that's just like putting a child in a pool. You know, they got most of the steps together. But the first time, you know, they dip and go, you're standing on standby, you're like, okay, come on back up. But when they start to struggle, and they're not coming up, you gotta go get them.
Yeah.
You gotta go get them. So, and it's not me mommying them, it's me still guiding them. Now, I would rather me go guide them and that's because I came from, my mother passed when I was younger, so I was from here to there and something like that, you know. So knowing how that feels, knowing that I still need guidance.
Yeah.
Now, how I left and how they left is 2 different ways. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't leave the right way. So, in case some of my family members is looking and they say, now, you know goodness well, girl. But I didn't leave the correct way. But even though I did, I had so many traumatic experiences that kind of shaped me to who I am, and not so much in a good way. You know, a lot of people say, I'm glad that happened to me because it made me who I am. I wish it hadn't happened to me, because that part of me I wouldn't have. You know, so on that aspect, I don't want them to go down the same road that I went down with some of the things. So with all that being said, mom has to go, and God, you just need a little more, a couple of more lessons, and okay.
So, did you try other options to try to make it work? You know, what were some of the things that maybe you thought could, you know, fix the situation, you know, to allow you guys to stay? Because initially, I mean, you guys packed up everything, your whole life to come here.
Yes.
You quit your job. You left everything and everyone behind.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you tried.
Yeah.
But what steps did you try to take to make that adjustment? You know, from moving to, you know, from the United States to Mexico with this split type of family. You know.
So in the beginning, like I said, initially the plan was we all were coming. Okay. But as I'm saying, okay, you know, I'm leaving, you know, this is the countdown, I think it was surreal because we've never been apart from each other. Okay. I have 6 children. And again, like I said, the older 2 are in their 20s. We've never been separated. No summers at grandma's house or, you know, stuff like that. We've always been together. So the fact that I'm saying, okay, I'm leaving, I don't think it really was, okay, she's leaving. Okay. You know, I don't think it was real to them until things started really moving. You know, like I started selling things, things of that nature. Then it became real. But by that time, it was a little bit too late.
Right.
Because it was too far gone. It was a little too late for you to really get yourself together to where you needed to be totally independent. So Yeah, I didn't do, because these are some of the things that we don't anticipate. You anticipate maybe getting sick over here, so
Right.
you do medical things, you make sure those things are in place. You try to keep some type of foot trail in the, United States, so that therefore if this happens, you got this, you put those things in place.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to something of this sort, and I came from raising my kids, and I didn't have a support system. I had literally like one person,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been my ride or die. It's like my brother. I had one person. So I didn't have a whole support system. I didn't have mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, all of those people,
Mhm.
So when you're used to it just being us, and then you take the core element away, it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
How do I adjust to this? It's like you take an amputee, you take what they use to be mobile with, you take that from them, and now I got to learn how to maneuver again.
Gotcha.
But it takes a minute to do that.
Mhm.
It's not an instant biscuit.
That's
You don't
correct.
get that next
Yeah.
week.
Mhm.
It takes time.
Mhm.
And then, a lot of people that things have happened, been amputees, they still have pain in their limbs that's not there.
Right.
So with that being said, my kids still had pains. They still had things that they didn't know how to do. That I was so busy preparing to come here for the younger ones, me preparing for them I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a thought, really. Like, only thing I kept saying was, y'all better get it together.
Yeah.
You better get it. But what was get it together
Wow.
when they never had to
Wow.
before? So that part of it, I never thought of it. It never crossed my mind. So me wanting to stay, because I do, I want to stay. It's things that I have to physically be there to do that I didn't think of coming
Right.
here. Legal stuff that, please get your legal stuff together too before you come. Get all your stuff together. Make sure everything's together, your legal stuff. Make sure, your mail is going somewhere that's trustworthy, that, if something's happening or something's going on, you have somebody that can read your mail or what have you. Please don't put all your eggs in one basket and think that United Postal Service is going to be there for you. I paid for a P.O. box until December, and I have received not one piece of mail in it.
Wow.
Yeah. And after going several times, calling and, talking to the lady straight. So certain things, I said that to say, certain things you have to be there physically. So make sure you get those things, the small little things that you don't even really think about in order to. We think about the major stuff.
Right.
But it's the little small things like that that, okay, or what if so-and-so passes away? What do you do?
Yeah.
And it's still in the States and you have to be there to handle things legally. What do you do? Because some of that is an issue too. So,
What are some of the other obstacles that you faced here?
honestly, the major thing, please learn Spanish, people. Please. Please. I don't care if it's a little bit. And these people are more than happy to help you. You say one line, baby, they'll finish the rest of it for you, You can kind of get by. But if you want your experience just to be a get by experience, then that's what you'll have. But the more you learn, the better it will be. For other things, again, so majorly, me being here, single mom, getting the kids in school. Who do you talk to if you don't know Spanish? Who going, just like you would move to anywhere, United States, you got to go to the, the school board and register your child or what have you. If you don't know Spanish, that's going to be a difficult situation because not everybody speaks English.
Right.
And you have to keep in mind, and that's kind of a cultural thing too, because the first thing I'm thinking like, damn, don't nobody speak English? Hello, this is Mexico. They're not supposed to.
Yep.
That's
true.
It's a lot of people in the United States that don't speak English.
And that is true. That is one of the main things that I try to stress. It's like, we are in Mexico. We're in a totally different country. So we have to learn their language.
she
We have to
has to
learn
learn
their
that.
culture.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to go about things the way that they would typically go about it. Things that are important to them, to us, may not be as important to them.
Yeah.
So that is good to know. What is your plan now? You know, once you go back to the United States.
So back to work it is for a moment. I don't see this as being a long-term thing. I'm definitely going to get some things in order, some legal things, sign over some things, and things of that nature. And while I'm there, I mean, you could never have too much money to come back with, you know. So, get a little nest egg with that again, and I'll be back.
So we all know, I know what has happened or what has transpired, but please tell everyone, you've been here 2 months, you've accumulated some things.
Yeah.
Correct?
So I've been
what
here
have you
since
done?
July. We moved here, July? We moved in here, when did I move in? July. I moved in this house July the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah. So I explained to you how much stuff, you and DJ, when I first got here, how much stuff I had, because it was a nightmare moving, and I had been in that house about 8-9 years. And the amount of stuff I had was jaw-dropping. You never know how much stuff you got until you got to pack it up. So anyway, it was loads and loads of stuff. So this time it was, you had
Quite a bit.
Had a van full.
Yes, she literally called me a few days ago and said, you know, we're leaving. I have all this stuff. Hey, if you want to go through it, just let me know. So I'm thinking, she did mention a washer. I'm thinking a washer, maybe a few other things. It is literally a van full of items. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Hey, when you got a bunch of kids, you know, it's like, get this, get that, you know.
Yes, I'm very, very thankful, very grateful, but I wasn't expecting so much. So I think I believe you said you are coming back. You would like to come back, correct?
Yes. So that's a definite. That's, you know, not a maybe, because, you know, we do have residency, so I still would have to come back next year to renew my things for me and the kids and stuff, but we definitely will be back. This is just a minor, you know, setback, you know, for a major comeback, I guess. So it just showed me to plan better, make sure that you think about the unthinkable, you know. And then, I mean, if this doesn't apply with you, if you have smaller children or what have you, and everybody's together, then okay. Only thing I can say is please learn Spanish, because that's how you're going to navigate. That's how you're going to navigate school, how you're going to get to and from if you don't have a car, because I didn't have a car. So trying to, in the area that we live at, it's not like the bus comes right here in front of the door. So I'm trying to navigate to where the bus goes and all the different places the bus runs to. You know, when you're looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? Because you don't understand the language.
Right.
Other little things, you know, I thought about if there ever was a situation here and the kids had to call 911, like what would be said? You know, like how would you go about explaining to, you know, first responders what's going on when you don't speak the language?
You're right.
You know,
there can be a lot of challenges. You're absolutely right. So definitely learn, practice. We have been here over a year now, and we are still learning. I'm still poquito español, but I am learning. My goal is to be very fluent in Spanish. But planning is hard. You know, planning, I feel like I watched all the YouTube channel, you know, shows that's out there. I watched everybody trying to learn as much as I could, but you can never, you know, it's always going to be something that you don't know. So, you know, try to do your research. research? Any other tips?
Your daily life. Take a day or so before you go or while you're planning and just observe your daily life. Like, what do you do every day? Or take a week. Take a week and see what your routine looks like during that week, okay? How do you, go about with the kids? Do they do this, do that, or what have you? What do you do for fun? Things of that nature. And then see how you're going to apply it here. Like, your Sunday morning, do you normally go to church? You have to find somewhere to worship. Do you Saturday consist of brunch with the ladies or what have you? You have to find,
that's
ample
important.
places. Yeah.
You have to have something, going on. Not only for yourself, but for your kids as well. It's
Absolutely.
so important.
Absolutely.
Everyone needs that outlet. A lot of times, here, you meet people, but everyone has their own, things going on, and life happens for everybody. So you have to have that outlet. Church is great, that, I know you had said something about your own prayer closet, right? And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yes.
I need to do something like that.
Yes. Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
So that's very important.
Things of that nature. Self-care, because I ran into that. I wanted to get my nails done, but I was like, but where? So you don't know who is going to do them properly, do your nails. You have kids, thank God, I cut and do hair, so.
See, she hooked me up with all the hair.
I was about to say that too.
Y'all, when I tell y'all, we moved, she had a whole house full of stuff. If I look real raggedy right now, it's because we've been working today. So I got all the hair. She could have had a whole beauty shop up in here. But yes, definitely, I will be trying to do hair like you do. But this head definitely needs to be done. And both my girls sitting over here right now, we gonna be rocking this hair out.
That's things to keep in mind too, especially if you have sons. Their Mexican texture hair is not our texture hair, So you want to keep that in mind, that who's going to cut your son's hair, or daughter's hair, or yourself, or what have you. Just regular, everyday things that you do at home. That's nothing that, I'm just going to go over here real quick and I'll be right back. It's not quite like that here.
It's not at all. I mean, it's not like you're just going to get up and go somewhere, unless you have a car.
Yes.
For us, we still don't have a car, so we actually just purchased some bikes. But even that, it's like it gets so hot. It's like we want to be out there riding a bike to go to the store to get some bread or something, just so quick, so you're right. It's not as easy. There are a lot of challenges here, but I feel you did an excellent job.
It can be done though.
It can be done.
It's a learning curve, but it's a learning. You're learning, and you learn something long enough, you master it, you get it. So I would say, whomever comes see, I say take that chance. Take that chance. I don't think you would regret it. I don't regret it.
That's what I was going to say. Your overall experience. If you want to come back, obviously,
yes, I
you love being here. But your overall experience here in the Yucatan and the people, talk about that. How the experience that you've had here.
It's really different because, again, like I said, you don't realize how much the United States, I know it's all race, color, and whatnot watching, but as African Americans, you don't realize how traumatized you've been until you left. Because, the first couple of days we were riding, I'm just like, that's the police on the floor. And never had a problem. Never had a problem. Just other little things that you are accustomed to. And, you're on the inside a little bit on the defense, like, okay, she look at me one more time. And it's not even that. She's looking at you because, your hair is purple or whatever. My son came here and his hair was a different color. So he got some looks because he had the afro. And I'm like, they're not looking at you because you're black. They're looking at you because look at your hair. You're different. You look a little different.
You are absolutely right about that.
Certain things that you would probably be on the defense side, in the U.S. and might be a little bit snappy about, like, I know she hurt me. It's not here. It's such a slower pace. People are looking at you like, Mr. Rush. And their favorite saying is, don't worry. Don't worry.
Everything is okay.
Don't worry. You know.
I must say, from the very first time that I met you, you were just on the go. You were fast. It's like, let's get it done. This is this need to go there. You know, you were very
high strung.
Yes, that's a good word. But I
tightly wound.
Yes, you have changed as far as just that whole just it's okay, don't worry. You've adapted that.
Yeah,
you have.
Because it's gonna happen. That's how they look at it. It's gonna happen. I mean, it may not happen right now, but it's gonna happen. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And that's how they view it. And yeah, I would say come. Even if you're not ready to retire, some people are saying, you know, retirement, not at the age or what have you. Come if you're able to come for a summer, or I wouldn't say come for you could say in summer.
You could say in summer like a good 95% of the time.
Well, it's a little bit cooler now though. It's
like
a little
summer,
bit
rain
cooler now.
Then back to summer.
Because when we first got here, even when we came in April, baby, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like 2 blocks from down under.
Yeah, it does get hot. It does get hot.
Yes, and you're looking at people like, how y'all just walking like, and you got long sleeves on, sir? Oh. So yeah, it's a different experience. It's been a wonderful experience. Again, I don't regret not one bit of coming here. Doing it all over, absolutely. I just would be smarter in my planning and choices. But I had it in my head and I was ready to go. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was ready to go. So if that is you, I would say, please ask God for a little more patience, pump your brakes a little bit, and just think everything out. So you won't be like me, heading back, just a comeback, okay? Again, I still don't regret, because all things happen for a reason and a purpose. So I don't know why I have to go back, but I have to go back. Just take your time.
Yeah. Take
your time. And you'll love it. You'll love it. Take your time finding places. Please don't get into the Airbnbs and, the first thing that looks beautiful, because I did that. I moved here and it came furnished, which you don't usually see that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the United States, but you don't normally see that. It came furnished and it was nice, but everything in here was all for show. It wasn't really for a functional family, So take your time. And she tried to say it, but I was just over it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So another thing, guys, ask for help.
Yeah.
Now, I love you. But, again, that high strongness, when you came here, you was like, no, I got it. And I'm like, let me help you. Take some of these tips. Listen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you learned and you have adapted. But I think that would be my take on it is for when you do come back.
Oh yeah, it's a different ballgame.
Let people help you.
Oh yeah. I've mellowed out a lot. Because I was like, let's go.
It's like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
I've been like that, you talking, but why are we not walking? But now it's just like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It'll happen. It don't have to happen now. Yeah. We'll do it later. It's totally different. Totally different. When I say they live a better quality of life, because the stress, what was you stressed about?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it happens now, if it happens tomorrow, it happened. Better be, better boom.
Right.
But the quality of life is way different, But again, if you're tired of being traumatized,
yes,
you're tired of some of the other stuff, come on over. I just say, if you come over here and you don't know Spanish, please be diligent in it. Because I started off real hot and heavy. Duolingo and a couple others, I paid for the whole year. Forget month to month. They do have classes here in Merida every Wednesday at the library and some other things, but just make sure that you are consistent in learning.
That's it, right
and
there.
They are more than happy because a lot of, especially the younger ones, a lot of them want to know English. So they will do in exchange with you. The guy at OXO, each time I go, I'm saying one word, and he says one or two to me.
Yeah.
How do you say it? And and I tell them, and they enjoy that. So I would say, be active.
Yes.
That's something I didn't do a lot of because I didn't have a car. Although it's more to just cars, but that's another thing I said with the Airbnb. Please don't just rush out because take your time. If you gotta stay in the United States for a little longer and get a little extra coin, please do that. Because when you rush out of Airbnb and you go, I like where I'm at. Don't get me wrong, I like where I'm at, but I wish I would have been somewhere that was surrounded with a little more because I'm a little kind of secluded. And I mean, there's everything. I mean, OXO is up the street, but it's a nice little walk now. Okay, you're gonna want to come home and take a nap.
Yep.
All right. But for the most part, everything else is not near me. So that's one or two things. You either have to spend money for Uber. The bus is not up the street either. So you got to find a way to the bus stop to get to where you need to go, or get a car. So just save, your money a little more. 1 or 2 Starbucks you don't get this week is not gonna hurt you. I learned. But take your time and find somewhere. And find different locations. There's so many different neighborhoods.
Yes.
There's so many different neighborhoods. Some I found just by chance, and I was like, oh, this is nice over here.
Look, I tried to get her to come across the street from me. Come across the street from me.
Yeah. Because the sad part about it is I live here in Chalou, but I do everything in
Concal anyway.
Yeah. So just take your time and learn. It's nothing fast about it. Not only that, it'll save you some coin, people. I could have got a 3-bedroom that was new. Nobody stayed there yet. But no. I seen this with all the cute aesthetics and whatnot. And I was like, nope, this is it.
And it happens. This is the same exact thing how I got caught up in the beginning. You walk into these houses, guys, and you see all of these beautifully furnished homes, and it's laid out, and you're like, ooh. But there's a price to that.
Absolutely.
There's a price to that.
Absolutely.
So definitely think about that. I know with us, we scaled it down. We went with something semi-furnished, pretty much just a sofa and a dining room table. And you do, little bit by little bit. So those are also some really good tips. But it's been a ride. It's been a wonderful ride. I'm so happy to call you my family.
Yes.
I cannot wait for y'all to return.
Yeah.
I know the girls are gonna be so sad.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My daughter too. Oh gosh.
But we'll see y'all again.
Of course.
We will see y'all
Of course. It's just like we gotta go home for the summer or the winter.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back. I think we're doing the opposite of the snowbirds.
Yeah. But it's okay.
We will definitely be back. But stay encouraged.
Yes.
Please.
God is still good.
Yes.
Through all of this. Everything happens for a reason. And so you coming back, I'm gonna, we're gonna hold it down here. We're gonna stay in touch. But y'all gonna be okay.
This time I get to come back. I get to come back with more knowledge.
Yeah.
A better appreciation, etc. So we're gonna come back full force and ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't let nothing stop you from coming. We're just saying, make sure you plan effectively.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not saying that will stop you if you don't plan, because I threw everything caution to the wind. Is it wind to caution? Whichever one. I threw it up and was like, we'll figure it out when we got there. And I figured it out, but I didn't expect some things also. So with that being said, just plan, so then therefore you don't have to go back home and people think that you and your man broke up.
Yeah, y'all ain't with that man anymore.
Yes.
That we ain't that man no
Yes.
more.
And I haven't told anybody I'm coming back, right?
Okay, so now you're coming back. So she leaves like in a couple of hours at 1 o'clock at 8 a.m. She's about to leave. She got all the bags packed. My kids over here sleep. Her kids sleep. And we just done work all day, you know, getting everything together, packing, cleaning. And they're about to head out. Any final words?
Ooh. Other than, you know, listen, if it's meant for you to come, God will make a way. If he bring it to you, he'll bring you through it, okay? He bring you to it, he'll bring you through
That's
it.
it.
That's what they say. I'm a firm believer in it. Come. You know, don't make people think that you are destined to stay in one place because of the color of your skin.
Yes.
And because you don't know anybody. And,
Amen.
you know, you drive down streets every day in the United States with people you don't know.
Exactly.
So, hey, at least here where you want to be.
And you did it. That's the thing. You stepped out of the box and you did it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're leaving with your head high, cause you know
I sure am.
And you can come back. I
And
always
am
say,
coming
what's the
back.
worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You know, things don't plan out. Just go back,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah. Just make sure you got some type of income plan coming in. Cause don't look for a job here for real. I'm being honest. Unless it's something online or whatnot. Cause again, you would need to know the language. You would need to know the language if you want to work. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people upset with employees at Walmart and other places in the United States because they didn't speak good English. So if you don't speak good Spanish, somebody's gonna be upset with you. So learn the language. Just figure out, just get a good, game plan.
Yep.
And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And leave the rest to God.
That's it. Thank you so much for this interview.
You're more
I
than
appreciate
welcome.
you. We're gonna miss you.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for joining me on Adventures of Ty. Look for more videos coming soon. Y'all take care of yourselves. Peace. Bye. Bye.